I see myself right there. Rich is not working correctly, but I think it's all working. So we'll see.
This is a great start to the podcast.
Oh man. Welcome to a conversation on Isaiah. This
You and one other person.
huh? Is this still not showing up?
Yeah, you are not here.
I'm definitely here. Which is weird. Let's see. I can go to the YouTube stream.
I mean, it's recording.
I'm on the YouTube stream, so
it
it's
just
there.
it just says that it's just me and Gormy.
Well, it's not. This is a great example of what this entire week has been like.
Yeah.
Just everything's a mess and hard, and people are missing.
People are missing. Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, Scott is in. He's on a missions trip.
He's in the overseas. Yeah.
Yeah, he's overseas with a group of people from Corner, and kind of the way we do missions trips here at Corner Church is just really about investing time and connection with our missionaries. We're not going there thinking that we have all the answers and we're trying to convert or put on a big thing.
Maybe you're not.
But really the goal is just, these are people that we pray for often. These are people that we support financially, and we want them to know that we care about them. And so that's why we do small group missions trips. We got some others coming up. I don't know why I went on that tangent. Oh, I was explaining why Scott was gone.
Yeah, because people are gone.
Yeah.
Rachel's
serving with she's serving with a group that helps credential ministers. So she's doing a bunch of interviews and figuring all that out. And I'm so thankful that she's doing it. So something I would absolutely hate. But yeah, so it's just the three boys today.
Mm-hmm. Here we are.
Gormy's got tired face on.
Heck yeah.
Time did you go to bed last night?
I went to bed early at 12:30.
I went to bed not early at 8 p.m.
Oh man, I love that we normally maybe there's 1 hour or two that no Corner Church pastor is awake during the day.
That's right.
And we cover the night in prayer.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Exactly. That's the only reason I stay up late.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh.
Talking about Isaiah?
Yeah, can you guys think of a moment where you took the easy way or you did the quick fix instead of doing the actual work, and it may have not worked out great? Does a moment come to your head? Rich avoids those things at all costs.
It's a little harder to think of, but I'm trying.
My story doesn't quite necessarily fit into I was taking the quick fix. It was something that I actually thought was going to be quick, and then it turned into not quick. Because Kelsey was gone for a weekend, and I decided to tear out our bathroom floor. And then I found that it was a much bigger project than I anticipated, and so to this day there are still things I haven't finished with that, and that was 3 years ago. But
Don't want to peak too soon.
peak too soon?
Yeah, don't want to peak too soon.
Yeah.
Don't want to rush it.
It's like the duct tape moment, like when you just use duct tape instead of actually.
I've done my fair amount of microphone stand, in the moment,
Yeah.
duct taping, and it never works.
It never works.
I don't. I think most of the things are. You want them to be faster than they are. You think you're doing a quick thing, and it's just long. I'm trying to think of the one where it's where it's I know I should do it this way, but
Yeah, I think you have a tendency to want to do it the best way.
now, Rich 10 years ago would have been very much.
Which I think we share some similarities. Mine isn't necessarily wanting to do it the best way. I just don't want to do it twice.
Mhm.
And so that's always okay, how can we do it enough that I don't have to do it again?
I just want to make sure that if the first way craps out, we have something in place so that it's not completely
Yeah.
gone.
You see, I don't even want contingencies because I just want to know that the plan's gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
I hate redoing things. Like, well, good example actually from my bathroom is I'm as good at tile. Doing tile. I'm at that place where like I'm good enough to get myself in trouble.
Mhm.
Like I know how it all works, but I don't really have the skill to do it all. And so I did the floor of the shower essentially wrong. The tile wasn't tall enough. And so I had to lay another floor of tile on top of the tile that I already laid to fix it. So I did that like 2 weeks ago. Having to do the project, and I'm just in there, just like angry, just like cursing at myself. Like, if you would have just done it the first time correctly, you wouldn't be in here again.
No, I've got one. Michael Imholt and I helped Mitch move a wardrobe into their apartment. And we got there and we went, this thing is bigger than we expected. We can probably make it. Instead of, we should have taken the bottom off, taken the top off, checked both stairwells to make sure there's space, and we didn't. And we got ourselves where on one landing, the wardrobe was horizontal, almost wall to wall, with me underneath it, holding it up so that they could try to turn it to get it up the rest. And we broke so many things. We should have measured.
Yeah.
We should have, but we did not.
Yeah. I think that is like a tendency to everybody to some degree. My brother and I have this joke that when we're doing something kind of dumb or something we know that it's going to be an issue later, we'll say, it's a future Greg problem.
Yep, future.
Or that's a future Spencer problem. Like, what are you going to do when this happens? Future Greg. He'll figure that out. I just need to get past this point. And I think that's a common occurrence that people, I don't know, why do you think people get stuck in that quick fix mentality? Like, I just have to do what gets me through today, even at the cost of future them.
I think part of it is the like instant gratification mentality that a lot of us have is we just don't know how to be patient, which means if it's going to take longer, we don't want to do it because it might be boring or it might be tedious or it might be I don't want to do this because I want to be doing this, so I'm going to do this quickly and poorly. But that's parenthetical.
Yeah.
It's easier. I mean, it's just.
It's not. If you look at the impact, long-term impact, it's not easy.
Oh, it's not easier overall, but to be like, I don't have to do it yet. So I don't want to do it, so I'm not gonna do it. And then you know, it's just it's like hitting the snooze button. You know, you don't have to worry about getting up until that thing goes off again 3 or 4 times, whatever it is. But at the moment, you don't have to worry about it. And overall, like you said, it's not easier because you're still having to do it, but you get to kind of push it off and delay it and
pretend it doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly.
You ever microwaved a steak?
No.
I haven't either, but I bet it's bad.
Yeah. There's, it's weird. It's interesting things that people. There's like we want the quick, but then people also like long for like the old way of doing things. Think about microwave. Like people microwave a lot of stuff, but then they'll go spend a lot of money on somebody who is like expertise in doing it the right way. And so we want our steak in eat it too. We want it both ways.
Boy, yeah.
And that's like, I guess that's a metaphor, I think, for me and my understanding of what's happening. We're in Isaiah 7 through 12, big chunk of scripture here. The king of Judah is terrified. There's these two kingdoms that are about to, I don't know, wipe him off the map. And so he doesn't know what to do. Isaiah makes this like prophecy. Okay, I'm confused about this because to me, I'm a Christian today. I can see that he's prophesying about Jesus, right? Emmanuel, God with us, all these things. How is that going to help this king that was 500 years before Jesus was even born? Like, what is Isaiah trying to say here? It seems dumb. I think what's happening is Isaiah and God are trying to give him perspective beyond his immediate crisis. But like, it's like those moments where like you're doing something and somebody comes in with advice that's like completely like not on what you're doing. Like you're trying to fix something. Like I'm trying to fix the bathroom floor of my house and someone's like, well, you should get a new roof. And I'm like, what? Like, that's not what I'm working on. That's kind of what I feel like is happening here. Am I wrong?
I mean, I'm thinking about the idea of why is this helpful? And I think in the perspective of, well, the bathroom, in the perspective of, right now, this is bad. Like, this is hard. This is, I don't know. And someone says, oh, but one day this bathroom is going to be great.
Okay.
Like, that would be not fun to hear at that moment, but could give a little perspective to people. Maybe not Greg in the middle of time, but also like, well, if you think about people, because this is specifically like, there's going to be a person. There are some things in the coffee shops that Scott does best, and maybe in a way that won't break again.
Yeah.
Right now, Scott's gone, which means there could be a moment where we go, man, this sucks. This is the worst. I don't know how this goes. There's this thing going on, man. And someone could say, but Scott's going to be back. And in the moment, you go, that's terrible. We have to make it through. But the perspective of, but it's going to be fixed. It could be helpful. I'm not.
Could be.
Scott, don't hear that I'm likening you to Jesus. No, I am. But that's just the whole, like, the idea of.
I just sometimes feel bad for, there's moments in the Old Testament especially where I'm like, the Israelites are supposed to have hope for something that they will never actually get. Those actual people will never actually get to experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think is a Western individualistic mindset that can be like really hard to wrap my head around. And so it may not have been a stumbling block for those people at the time. But like, to me, I'm always like the wandering in the wilderness, or like there's all these moments where there's this promise, but that the people that he actually made the promise to won't actually be alive to see it. I'm like, what good is that? How does that help them? And it also makes me like, I don't know, is God making me promises that I won't ever get to see fulfilled? That kind of sucks.
Well, it's almost like if you watch, okay, I'll just take the John Wick series. You know, oh, this guy's gonna be dead, but you've already seen John Wick 4, and he's still alive in John Wick 4. So you're looking at John Wick.
Spoilers.
Yeah, you're looking at John Wick and going, how can this guy be? Well, I know it because I already saw John Wick 4, and he's still around. So yeah, there's kind of that, you know, and yeah, may not have had a whole lot of that whole Emmanuel, God with us may not have had a whole lot for Ahaz himself, but I'm sure that he was thinking, this is it. The whole kingdom's going to just go. And Isaiah saying, no, this is, I've seen the sequel, essentially. And it's still, Israel hasn't been destroyed.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that was part of what was weighing on him, not just my own destruction, but what am I doing with the kingdom? And the kingdom's going to be, gone.
Yeah.
Because I screwed up, and Isaiah saying no.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's good perspective, that the hope isn't just for like the finished product, but it's that there is a path towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that those people get to participate in it. I think it's so essentially what happens, I don't know if we said it, Ahaz, instead of listening to Isaiah, he makes an alliance with Assyria, and which is, for our metaphor, is the quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
Like Isaiah goes, no, dude, there's hope beyond this moment. I've seen the future. I've seen what is going to be, God with us, really foreshadowing the person of Jesus, who will come and be God's presence on earth, God with us, Emmanuel, all these things. And Ahaz goes, he's like, I can't look up. I can't see that future because my moment is so chaotic. I can't see I can't see that vision that you had because I'm terrified. This moment is hard and scary. And so I'm going to actually not listen to you. And I'm going to choose to not have hope and rather have hope in my own ability, have hope in what I can do and what I can control. And so this section of Isaiah is encouraging us to have hope in something that we don't understand, that we don't have control of, rather than just our own ability, I think.
Trust God. Hey, Ahaz, trust God. Again, trust God. You have a big army. I just big army.
Yeah.
Which we want to do.
Well, why is that? Why is it easier to trust things that you can see and know? Even when even in the story, it doesn't turn out great.
It doesn't turn out great. Oh boy, man.
I mean, I think that I have that tendency to be like, yeah, I trust you, God. That's why I'm doing all these things and having all these contingencies and doing all this planning. It's because I trust you. Like, and sometimes maybe, I don't know. That's a hard line.
Yeah, I think it's hard to navigate for us, our tiny human brains, the trust God but do stuff. Right? Because it's like, well, if I do stuff, am I trusting God? Well, yes, because God said but okay, but what if I'm doing this? It's like, well, that's not trusting God. You're trusting yourself. But if God puts you in a place to do stuff. But if I do stuff, aren't I? It's like the vultures from the old Disney Robin Hood movie.
Yeah.
Now don't stop that again. Yeah. Like it just keeps going in a circle. But I think the idea of trust God, do stuff, and then Isaiah and where is it? I had it. Hey Ahaz, like trust God. Guess what's gonna happen? I want to give you a glimpse. Like trust God, do stuff.
Does adding what Isaiah shares, this idea of Emmanuel or God with us, does it change that formula?
The trust God, do stuff?
Yeah. Because that's what I think partly, like, I think Isaiah's prophecy is for future and give hope, but I also think if Ahaz had faith that God was Emmanuel, God was with us in that moment, he still does stuff, but it changes what he does.
That's true.
Like, I think that is the shift of perspective of like, am I doing church am I doing church to make God be here, or am I doing church to make myself look good? Or if I'm doing like, why am I doing it? Like back to that question about motivation, or does God with us, is that the motivation to do stuff? Like I'm doing it out of relationship, out of who I know God to be, out of the character that I see who he is.
And I would say it'd probably be really easy. Actually, we've seen it really easy to be, I'm going to plant a church. It's going to be big immediately. And if it's not, then there's that Ahaz moment of, well, I'm trusting, like I was trusting God that I'm here. Now I'm here and I've got 5 people every Sunday. I'm supposed to have 150 people every Sunday. I'm going to, and then the quick fix moment comes in. Like, I think there is in life, in church planting, in Ahaz, in Christianity, in all these things, there's an opportunity for patience and trust, because the trust God, do stuff can be action now, but sometimes the trust God for things is way down the road, and we don't like it because we're impatient.
Yeah.
But I think the perspective does change. If you are trying to trust God and all you see is the armies of the person trying to come and get you, come and take over, what's the word I'm looking for? Oppress you. It's harder to do stuff until you have clear vision. And if someone says, "Oh, but don't worry, this is going to happen," you can choose to go, "Well, that doesn't help me now," and keep doing the same thing you're doing, or you can choose to go, "Okay, then I will keep on the path."
Yeah.
Even when it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can think of people in my world or even in Corner Church who are in a moment where it can feel like the armies are at the gates, the things are hard, and I mean, I see certain people being able to have perspective in the middle of that, and I don't think that hope and that perspective comes unless God is with them. Like it's like such a clear moment of like, oh, they know who God is because their perspective is one of hope in the midst of not a great moment. And so I find that highly encouraging to be able to see God at work in the lives of people around me. And I think that helps me look up. I think like this last week has been one where I can have a tendency to just like look down and work harder. And I think like the invitation is like to look up and see what God is actually doing.
Yeah.
And so often our timeline is more urgent than necessarily what is called for. We're going, it needs to get done now, or it's never going to get done. You know, kind of like the whole armies thing. It reminds me of the Lord of the Rings. They're at Helm's Deep, and they're just and they know Gandalf is coming. Gandalf is coming, and they're like, yeah, we're dead now though. And no, it wasn't quite. I mean, the orcs are still assaulting, but they weren't dead now. But then Gandalf arrives, and it wasn't too late, but every moment seemed like, yeah, this is too late. This is too late. This is too late. And I think a lot of times when we have kind of the same kind of, yeah, but it's too late. God can't do anything now, and it's not too late. It seems like it, but we're on a certain timeline, and God's like, you know what? It's you're acting as if you're about to die at any second, but I've got this covered, and you can trust that. And it's hard because we see, we just see that clock ticking down, our own clock, and that's a lot of times different we're at a different point in the countdown in our clock than God is at. And ours kind of tends to rush that along, I think. And we can reach zero, and we're like, see, it's zero, and it's still going. And it's like, okay, well, maybe it's another minute, you know. But
I'm gonna play on his story for the wrap up, because that moment in Lord of the Rings and Helm's Deep, there's
Should have known that.
A moment
Getting in a
where-
room with you guys.
Theoden and Aragorn and Gimli and Legolas and everything feel completely overwhelmed, completely done, to the point of Theoden saying, "Ride out with me one last time," right? And they ride out, and the phrase that happens when they see Gandalf, because it's not just Gandalf,
right.
it's Gandalf leading the Rohirrim. So Éomer shows up, and Gandalf says, "Theoden King stands alone." And Éomer's response is, "Not alone." And they run down the hill and they save him all that. But for us, I think Emmanuel, God with us, is part one. Like, we need to know God is with us. That's hope. But part two is God brings people, body, community. Like, the New Testament is riddled with body of Christ community stuff. And the moment that we go, I'm not trusting in God, I'm going to do the quick fix thing, is also the moment where we really just come down and go, I'm here by myself. And I'm not trying, where if we expand just a little bit, there might be more hope in God's people. Because we don't stand alone. A lot of horse warriors and a wizard come. So.
And with that,
Yeah.
we'll see you next
See
week.
ya.